Level-Headed with Levi D. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and set the bell notification to all. If you currently are not getting my notifications, please turn the bell setting to none and turn back on to all. Please also share this. Let's get into it.
Don't wait up, I've been working hard every day, living dreams for a pay stub, yeah, straight up. 5 years later, like I said, I would make it on my way up. It's all up, coming from the nation, lay the foundation, true stuff, yeah, too tough. We ain't giving up on our dreams, everything is ahead of us. Stay true to your path, it's not where you start, it's all where you're at. It's where you end up when your back's to the mat. Do you cripple or flat or get up off your back? Deliver these facts to see them react. The stadium's packed, they all gonna snap. The motivated attract, the escalated attack. The frustrated hit back, yeah, we move fast. I wanna change everything, I swear I'll do anything just to get where I wanna be. I won't stop till I'm free, I won't stop till I'm free. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go. It's automatic, I'm always getting after it. If you ain't working, I don't understand what's happening. There's not enough time just to be imagining. You gotta take some action towards practicing. I know it's not easy, but you gotta get out there. Make your own meaning, can't afford to have doubts. They'll interrupt dreaming, I just wanna look out there. The crowd all screaming. I wanna change everything, I swear I'll do anything just to get where I wanna be. I won't stop till I'm free, I won't stop till I'm free. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go. I won't stop, no, I won't let go. I won't drop, no, and I won't let go.
Hello. Today we are going through the quest for justice for Timmy Dees. His mom Barbra Hall needs our help. There's a GoFundMe page that we need to raise to $5,000 to get an independent autopsy report done. As you go along this quest, this was a dear one to me, to my friend ArcticFox. True crime, links to his videos will be in the descriptions. There is some other videos, and you need to listen to the full interview from last night and some of his other ones as well. This one is going to lay out the case for you, and then hopefully we can get this shared to some other creators that I will be emailing to help them to raise the funds so that she can get her independent autopsy done. She needs to have the funds by Wednesday, so we need to all put it together here. I think there's like $1,600 and some change in it. Even $1 helps, $2, $1, anything helps in this situation. This one doesn't make sense. There's some red flags. There is an article that I do read in here that I did find, which just justifies that things don't make sense, as well as pretty much I took all of the other information that I could find on the web and put it all into this video. I hope you sit back. I hope you enjoy. I hope you grab some tissues. Almost forgot. The link to the GoFundMe page is in the description. So don't forget to go there by the end of the video. I will remind you once again at the end of the video, we need to help this mother out so that she does not have to sell her house. In order to get this done, she is determined to get this done, and we totally need to get this done for her. And also, you may want to grab some tissues for this one.
Together in one Heartland city to spread awareness and search for a missing person today. It happened in Fredericktown, where dozens of people met at the courthouse and marched their way through the streets to let people know about the missing person, Timothy Dees. Dees was last seen and heard from in the Fredericktown area back in February. His mother, father, friends, and members of the community are wanting answers to what happened.
Anything else you'd like to tell him?
I just love him, and I would appreciate everybody's help to find my son. Good or bad, he wants to be with his brother. If it's bad, I need to take him to his brother.
Thank you. We'll be praying for you.
It's sad, and I just really want his body so that I know his soul's in heaven. I know that because I know Timmy was saved, and I just want his body to put him to rest with his brother where he'd want to be.
People showed up today, more than was expected. They have 4 teams going, over 40 people. I'm kind of on the standby unit, but I thought I'd make a video and asking for prayers that everything works out right. We get some answers today. I want to say thank you to the Sheriff's Department and the Highway Patrol for coming out and helping out the Dees family. All right, I want to thank everyone who came out on behalf of Iron Dogs, or anyone that's planning to come out. You might as well just go ahead and hang out at the house. Your prayers will be needed, but they have all the crew they need for today. I want to thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.
After marching through the downtown area, they went to various areas in and around Fredericktown and searched through the fields and roads there in hopes of locating Timothy's remains.
The St. Louis area family hopes to find their Those discoveries come as a St. Louis area family hopes to find their family member alive. He disappeared in that same region almost 2 months ago. Police say none of the bodies are that of Timmy Dees. Throughout the day, police, family, and friends have been searching Timmy's last known location, Fredericktown. It's about 90 miles south of the city. Only News 4's Jenna Ray takes us there tonight.
He was very sweet and funny, and he liked to joke around and dance, and he loved music. He had a wonderful smile.
Timmy Dees' mom holds to memories of her son, who just turned 26 Sunday. His disappearance is so perplexing to his parents.
He would always call one of us, for sure. You know, nothing else, just say, hey, Dad, I'm all right.
He'd text me and say, I'm okay, Mom.
Barbara says Timmy was last at her home in Jefferson County on Friday, February 25th. She says Timmy's friend Caleb picked him up to go to Fredericktown for the weekend.
Caleb was a childhood friend. So for Timmy to come with Caleb to Fredericktown is not a surprise because Caleb lived here.
Sunday, February 27th is the last time Timmy was heard from. And investigators tell News 4 Timmy was seen on video at a Fredericktown gas station around 1:30 a.m. on the 28th.
He loved his job, Local 6. You know, he had checks at the Union Hall.
6 weeks later, his parents have so many questions.
Like he's vanished.
And they're not giving up on finding him.
I started coming down, we made flyers, and then I just would sit at the courthouse and hand out flyers.
Law enforcement officials believe Timothy Dees was last seen here near County Road 277. That's why volunteers are out here searching the field nearby. Law enforcement officials saying a 911 call was made from Timmy's phone on February 28th.
The direction's going to be this way.
Those volunteers searched for hours Tuesday. It's unclear who made the 911 call from Timmy's phone. As for the people he was with on February 28th,
I've gotten 10 different stories from him, so I don't know.
Madison and Jefferson County Sheriff's offices, along with Missouri Highway Patrol, are now assisting in the search for Timmy Dees. The families even hired a private investigator. The disappearance is even more emotional after suddenly losing their other son back in June.
We love our son and we just want to find him. There's no doubt he's probably not alive, but I just want to find him to put him with his brother where he'd want to be. Whoever did this to my son has taken everything.
In Fredericktown, Jenna Ray, News 4.
News 4 has reached out to Timmy's friend Caleb. Parents and investigators both say he was with Timmy the night he disappeared. He hasn't gotten back to us yet, but if you have seen Timmy or have any information, call police.
What is going on, YouTube? This is ArcticFox. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come on here real quick. As many of you know, I've been covering the case of missing Timmy Dees out of Fredericktown, Missouri, extensively since March of this year. I've been in contact with Timmy's mom, and she has become more than just the mother of Timmy more than just a friend. She's become part of my family. And I wanted to come on because we did get news today, and we've got confirmation that Timmy was found. And unfortunately, it's not the outcome that we were hoping for, but at least Timmy can finally be laid to rest properly and respectfully next to his brother. There's not a lot of details as far as cause of death. Um, Foul play is certainly still suspected by the family and by anyone that's been following this case. Timmy's phone was missing off of his body when he was found. Um, I will certainly be providing updates on this case as they come forward, as far as the cause of death and fighting to get justice for Timmy and his family. I want to sincerely express my gratitude for all of you who have shared Timmy's story, who got his face out there, that helped to light a fire under law enforcement in the Fredericktown area to help find this young man. It just goes to show that when we pull together and work as a team and work as a community, we can make a difference in these cases. I cannot express enough how deep my sympathy goes out to Barbra and Tim Dees, Timmy's parents, and to all of Timmy's friends and family who are hurting so bad in this time of loss. But I did want to do this video as a tribute to Timmy and to let you all know that that while we're still waiting on all the details as far as cause of death and manner of death, Timmy has been found. He is going to be laid to rest next to his brother, and he will have a proper memorial service. Guys, I cannot thank you enough for everything that you have done to try to help find this young man. I do ask that you keep Barbra and Tim and the entire family in your thoughts and prayers, and that you light a candle for Timmy tonight. I just really appreciate each and every one of you. I will do a live on Timmy eventually when we get more information on cause and manner of death. But I do want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I know Barbra and the family want to thank all of you from the bottom of their hearts for everything that this community has done to try to find Timmy and lay him to rest in peace. This is a hard one for me, guys. I mean, I knew in my heart what this outcome was going to be, but I was praying for a different outcome. Just please keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers, and I want to just thank all of you, as I always do, for everything that you do to help not just Timmy's family, but all of these families. As always, guys, I thank you for tuning in and watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please be kind.
Authorities confirming remains found in southeastern Missouri belong to a missing Creve Coeur man. Timothy Dees disappeared this past winter. Previously, investigators told News 4 Dees was last seen on camera at a Fredericktown gas station on February 28th. This is video from a search in April. According to Missouri State Highway Patrol, Dees' skeletal remains were discovered on private property this morning. Right now, there is no word on how he died.
So as I was gathering all this information to put this video together, I ran across an interesting article. The article name is Mysterious Suicides and Missing Persons Rattle Southern Missouri Town by the Riverfront Times, which will be linked to the original article in my description. Barbra Hall had already had the year from hell when her 26-year-old son, Timmy Dees, went missing in February. Dees had grown up in southeast Missouri, not far from Fredericktown, a city of 4,000, about 90 minutes south of St. Louis. But when he turned 18, he wanted to work and found few opportunities. He moved to St. Louis suburbs of Creve Coeur, where over the course of 8 years, he became a rigger, setting up stages for concerts. Music was his passion, And after becoming part of the stagehands union, it looked like he would be able to make a living working in live event production. He was about to buy a house and intent on becoming a family man. He didn't have a girlfriend, but that would work itself out. On June 19, 2021, Dee's older brother Michael died of an overdose. He'd long battled mental health issues and addiction. The whole family grieved. Dees got a tattoo of a pizza roll and ranch dressing bottle on his calf, a tribute to his brother's favorite food. He said that if he ever had a son, he'd name him Michael. Timmy was very upset, stayed upset, Halls said. He told me he wished he'd stepped in and done more to help his brother, but there was nothing he could have done. In February of this year, one of Dee's friends from Frederickstown offered to pick him up and take him back to his old stomping grounds for the weekend. Dees was eager for the change in scenery. He mentioned the planned trip to Hull during one of the almost daily phone calls. On Friday, February 25th, Dees and his friend drove down to Frederickstown. When Dees didn't call Hull over the weekend, she took note but didn't worry. He was out with friends. She understood. She began getting nervous on Monday when she still didn't hear from him. Hull called her son's phone but couldn't leave a message because Dees hadn't set up his voicemail. That was nothing new, but suddenly her text messages weren't going through either. By Tuesday, Hull felt physically sick. Something felt bad. Something felt wrong, she says. On Wednesday, March 2nd, she reported her son missing. The information about her son's weekend in the Frederickstown area is hazy, and even 2 months later, Hall doesn't fully know what happened. A few days after she reported her son missing, she got a call from a friend who had taken Dees to Frederickstown. He had been arrested on a warrant unrelated to Dees' disappearance. He called her over the jail's video conferencing system, and Hall recorded the call. In the video, his hair is long and unkempt, his face stubbled. "I'm going to do everything I can to look for him," he said. "I'm worried, Barb. I love you. I love him. I don't want you to think I'd do anything to hurt him." The call had been made in the early days after Dee's disappearance, Hall says, when she still held out hope he might be found alive. Why would he say he'd never heard him? Hall asked. What did he mean by that? Surveillance video, along with police and phone records, paint a partial picture of the hours leading up to Dee's disappearance. Around 1 a.m. on the morning of Monday, February 28th, Dees was seen on security camera footage at a gas station in Frederickstown. Dees withdrew $160 of the gas station out of the gas station's ATM at 1:30 a.m. and played the video slot machines. Frederickstown Police Chief Eric Hovis confirmed the surveillance video, saying that Dees was positively identified on it and that he looked happy, healthy, and alive. About 3 hours later, at 4:40 a.m., someone made a 911 call from Dee's phone. The call went to Madison County Sheriff's Department dispatch, but was not recorded. According to the dispatcher, a frantic voice on the other end said, "Someone is chasing me." Since the call wasn't recorded, no one knows for sure if the voice belongs to Dees or if someone else was calling from his phone. Back in December, our 911 recorder went down. Dispatcher Kyle Rogers says, and it took us about 4 months to get a new one replaced. I ordered it in January. It got installed in the middle of March. After the call, Hall says deputies with the Sheriff's Department responded to a house on Village Creek Road in Madison County, north of Frederickstown. There, the deputies arrested the friend Dees had traveled to Frederickstown with on an outstanding warrant. Others present at the scene said that Dees had been there earlier in the night but had already taken off. And now it's like he's vanished, Hull says. Within a few days, Hull was down in Madison County searching for her son for herself. She's basically never left. The story red brick Madison County Courthouse. The 3-story red brick Madison County Courthouse. The 3-story red brick Madison County Courthouse sits in the heart of Fredericktown. An impressive bell tower rises 1 story above the rest of the structure, making the courthouse easy to mistake for a church from a distance. It's encircled by a roundabout where Fredericktown East, West, North, and South Main Streets all converge. These days, it's impossible to walk more than a few feet on any of the 4 streets and not see a photo of Timmy Dees. His mother has blanketed the town with them. On a sunny April afternoon, Hull arrives and begins her usual routine. Using bungee cords, she attaches large posters of her son to the light poles dotting the roundabout. "Help bring me home," the posters read. Hull and her boyfriend Jimmy Moyers retrieve 2 camping chairs from the back of their car and set them out in the grass in front of the courthouse. They sit for the rest of the day, passing out flyers advertising a $10,000 reward to anyone who can help find Dees. Hull has been at the courthouse every day for the past 6 weeks, except Sundays and days when it rains. For the most part, everyone in the town already has a flyer. Almost every business has one in its front window. A week prior, Hull went to around 20 houses in the area near where her son was last reported to be and got those homeowners to sign documents giving volunteer permission to search their properties. She organized the search, followed by another with trained dogs. Her efforts to close her son's case is nothing short of heroic. "I'm not going away," she says. "I can tell you that. I don't believe my son's alive anymore, and he's all I had left. At this point, what are they going to do? Kill me? That would be putting me out of my misery, because getting up every day, living this stuff, is a nightmare." Her presence is simultaneously a vigil and a protest. A vigil because after 10 weeks, Hull has conceded the grim reality of her situation. "I carried each of my sons for 9 months," she says, "but I lost them both in 8. A protest because Hull feels law enforcement in general and Madison County Sheriff Katie McCutcheon in particular have dragged their feet on the investigation. "I couldn't get the Madison County Sheriffs to do anything for me," Hull says. She points to the Sheriff's Patrol SUV parked by the courthouse. "She just pulled up and walked inside and didn't even look in my direction." McCutcheon calls the lack of closure on the Dees case a black eye for her department, but she is adamant that every lead that came in through we've addressed it as far as we can. "We're working with the Missouri State Highway Patrol on the investigation." In the past 10 weeks, the Dees case has received some media coverage, including a segment on KMOV. But Dees has become a bona fide cause célèbre among a dedicated group of vloggers and others online. "The police are doing nothing. There's a whole bunch of covers-ups in that town," one vlogger said in a video covering the Dees case. McCutcheon says that the interest has turned into an avalanche of threats and harassment directed towards her and her deputies online. In October, the department deleted its Facebook page. "I'm hiding absolutely nothing. We're not covering up anything. All the Facebook warriors are getting on Facebook saying how we've got all these suspicious deaths in the county. Yes, people come here. They shoot themselves. They die. I can tell you that every death we have, if it is somewhat suspicious, we call the highway patrol. They have more experience. They have more education. They deal with murders every day. We deal with a murder every 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years. The anger against the sheriff's office isn't just online. As Hall puts it, people pull over all the time when they take a flyer from me, and they say, "Man, I hope you find out something. This whole town is corrupt. We hope we get some answers and something changes in this town." McCutcheon isn't the only person in Fredericktown people want answers from. There's also James Wade. There's a house along Highway Z, just outside Fredericktown, that is fairly isolated, partially surrounded by trees. It once belonged to James Wade, a middle-aged man with gray eyes and a salt and pepper goatee. While he owned it, 2 young men died there. On the morning of Halloween in 2014, Wade walked into the Madison County Sheriff's Office. This was before McCutcheon's tenure as sheriff. According to police reports, Wade was pacing around, waving his arms about. He moved in a jerky motion, moving his head about, his eyes wide open. He stated he wanted to report a missing person. Wade said the 20-year-old Nick Lowry, who was involved with one of Wade's daughters, Brooklyn, had gone missing. A deputy gave Wade paperwork that Wade took home but didn't fill out and never returned. Later in the day, Brooklyn Evans came into the sheriff's office and said that Lowry said he couldn't take it anymore. He had a gun that his grandfather had left him, and he had only 1 bullet for the gun. The gun had no clip. Nick said he was going to kill himself. He took the gun and walked into the woods. The next day, Lowry's body was found in the woods on Wade's property with a gunshot wound to the head. The coroner ruled out the death a suicide. The police report about Lowry's death states that Lowry's father, Matt, came to Madison County Sheriff's Department and spoke with deputies about the investigation. The report says Matt stated that he has been informed by Nicholas, Lowry's half-brother, Brian, in the past that James Wade has made threatening statements toward his son, Nicholas Lowry. However, upon further questioning of Wade, and after the coroner's ruling, deputies found no cause to further the investigation. Lowry's death wasn't talked about outside the area at that time, but it took a new significance in the wake of what happened on the property 6.5 years later. Durante Martin was a defensive lineman for Park Hills Central High School in the Fredericktown area. The school mascot is the Rebel, a mustachioned white man in a red outfit, a romanticized depiction of someone who fought for the revisionist lost cause. After graduating, Martin's SAT scores weren't high enough to go to college, so he got a job at a restaurant, but lost it during the pandemic. But things were looking up when his family moved to Ferguson, where Martin got his own room for the first time. His mom used her stimulus check to buy him some new clothes. A few weeks later, on April 23rd, 2021, a friend from high school picked him up to take him to a party back in Madison County. It was an 18th birthday party for Lonnie Wade. James Wade's daughter, Martin's mother, Erica Lott, tells the RFT that on Saturday, April 24th, her son arrived at the house of 47-year-old James Wade for the party. Martin was black, and Wade is known for displaying a large Confederate flag and posting extreme racist content on social media. A photo of a black man in shackles superimposed with the text, "My great-great-grandfather's tractor," was a typical post of his. A 2020 Black Lives Matter protest in Madison County, which is 94% white, was met with a large hostile counter-protest, as one business owner put it, a huge militia with an AR-15 every half of a block. In the early hours of Sunday morning, Madison County received a 911 call for a surprisingly calm Wade. saying that someone at his home was dead and that no, he didn't need to perform CPR during the call. A woman in the background shouts, "I hate this." The victim is 19-year-old Martin, who died by gunshot wound to the head in Wade's attic. Witnesses at the party told police that Martin, who had methamphetamine in his system, according to a toxicology report, was acting paranoid. A 31-year-old partygoer gave Martin a gun. According to a police report, when the man was asked why he gave Martin the gun, he said, "Because Durante was feeling uncomfortable, so I gave him his gun to make him feel more comfortable." Martin's initial autopsy ruled his death a suicide, but Martin's family requested a second examination be done by a private doctor. The second autopsy determined the gunshot to have been fired from too far away to have been self-inflicted and that Martin died by violence. The initial autopsy done on Martin was thrown into further question when it was revealed that the same medical examiner who had performed it also performed the autopsy on Michaela Jones, an 18-year-old who had just finished high school and died with meth in her system. The medical examiner ruled it a suicide despite Jones having no history of drug use or depression. Martin's death made international news. His case and Dees are vastly differ in their particulars, but their broad outlines have a haunting resonance with each other. And both young men had roots in the Fredericktown area, but their families moved to the suburbs of St. Louis for better opportunities. Both young men returned to hang out and have a good time with friends and were met with horrible fates. In both cases, the story would have likely received little to no attention if not for extraordinary efforts on the part of the bereaved mothers. Dees, Martin, Lowry, Jones. Something is going on in Madison County is a common refrain in a Facebook post from a Facebook post vlogger after vlogger. Over the summer, a coroner's inquest was held, and a 6-person jury determined that Martin's death was not a suicide. Despite this, no charges were filed against Wade or anyone at the party. They're horrible, Lott says about the Madison County Sheriff's Department handling of her son's death. They're not investigating. They refused to investigate because they told me they know it was a suicide because they looked at the pictures, and they're not changing their ruling, regardless of the jury in the coroner's inquest. Many people online calling for justice for Durante are like Timmy Dees' mother, placing the blame for the unsolved crime on the sheriff. Madison County Sheriff Katie McCutcheon, 42, is tall with brown curly hair. Despite the intense criticism, she is now serving her second term in office. McCutcheon won her first election in 2016, running as a Democrat in a county carried easily by Donald Trump. She won re-election in 2020 with only a slightly smaller margin of victory than Trump, who took 80% of the Madison County vote. Despite this seemingly popularity, many in town say she's not done a good job. We could have a better sheriff, says Bob McMillan, co-owner of Main Street Memories, a second-hand antique shop a few blocks away from the sheriff's office. McMillan says he is also McCutcheon's cousin. We've been broken 6 times, and we're right across from the police station. Crime is horrible here. The thieving. She's a really good person, probably just lenient with things, he adds. Another longtime resident at Fredericktown area who asked to only be referred to as Lana says that law enforcement in the area in general is too hands-off when it comes to drugs. The sheriff, Lana says, is the mind that the dopers would take care of themselves. That's the problem, Lana says. They are taking care of themselves. They're dropping like flies, and they're not flies, they're people. McCutcheon says she's says she's truly troubled by the Dees case and she feels for his family. She's also frustrated with how, no matter what her department says, it gets eaten alive by critics. She's also very worried about being smeared by the media, citing specifically a KSDK segment about one of the deputies who lost the burglary victim's Masonic ring that had been entered into evidence. The department offered to compensate the man for the lost item, but he said that wasn't necessary. McCutcheon's office thought that was the end of the ordeal, until a reporter came to Frederickstown and seemed to accuse McCutcheon's department of theft. "See where my frustration is coming from?" she asked. "I can tell you the sun is bright today with a few clouds, and reporters will smear it around to where I said it was dark green and black and it's raining." McCutcheon says she's talked to Hall several times. Hall insists they've never spoken. She's called. She's asked questions. I've answered her questions, McCutcheon says, but she still blasts me on Facebook. Why would I want to go talk to somebody if I've talked to her a couple times and I'm still getting blasted? However, McCutcheon's critics found validation when, in April of this year, James Wade moved from several miles outside Frederickstown city limits into the city. Now subject to a new jurisdiction, it didn't take long to get arrested. He only lived here for like a week, and look what we just did, says Frederickstown's chief of police, Eric Hovis, referring to his department arrest of Wade. In the early hours of Thursday, April 14th, Wade said he believed his daughters were with Jacob Graham and Graham's brother and in danger. Wade left his house and drove to where he believed his daughters to be. While driving, he encountered Graham and another man in a car on North Mine Lamotte Avenue. Wade said he pulled up behind the two men to talk. They didn't stop, so Wade rammed them off the road. According to the probable cause statement, Wade says Graham then opened fire on Wade's truck. Wade tried to escape but backed up into a tree. He then ran to Madison County Sheriff's Office, an interesting choice on foot. Graham and the other man in the car also gave statements to police. They said they were driving to Wade's ex-wife's house to borrow an extension cord for a space heater when Wade, out of nowhere, was in his truck behind them on the road. He pulled in front of them, blocking them. Graham then opened fire. A bullet grazed Wade's forehead above his right eye. He and Graham were arrested by the Frederickstown police and charged with assault and being held on a $100,000 bond. Those advocating for justice for Durante Martin cheered Wade's arrest online, even though it was unrelated to the case. Most of the town's happy he's behind bars. Once Frederickstown's business owner says about Wade. The whole Durante Martin thing is still an open case. The FBI has got it, notes dispatcher Cal Rogers. They are the ones that are working it. The Martin case is often mentioned in Facebook posts along with Dees, Lowry, and Michaela Jones. Those four cases are often connected to the case of John Paul J.P. Parton, a 19-year-old who went missing in May of last year. J.P.'s sister, Angelique, says that her brother, who'd been staying in Cape Girardeau, is technically listed as missing from Jefferson County, but had previously lived around Frederickstown and may have allegedly gone missing from Madison County. I know that my brother knew Durante and they knew mutual people, she says. A lot of people are adamant that something is going on in or around Madison County, but it's not entirely clear what. Lana, the long-time Madison County resident, doesn't claim to know exactly what's going on, though she's pretty sure whatever it has to do with a new type of meth. Lana says that today meth is a whole different animal than what she used for decades while still managing to function and hold down a job. Now they're using what they call ice, she says. It's like a fungus grown in a cooler. One of the ingredients is glue. It's making people crazy, like instantly crazy. Martin had meth in his system and had almost certainly been around people who were using it the night he died. The friend who drove Dees to Fredericktown has a host of drug charges. People in Fredericktown said that the frantic 911 call from Dees' phone was made from a known drug house. McMillan and another store owner, Jim Fox, both say the meth problem has gotten much worse in the last few years. In one of the robberies in which McMillan was the victim, he says burglars stole $5,000 worth of tools from his storage shed. They probably sold it all for a few $100, he says. Fox, owner of Tim's Western Wear, a few blocks away from the courthouse, says that his business has been robbed multiple times too. He's certain drugs played a role. That's pretty much what we're known for, he says, more than a little resignation in his voice. Another source says that meth has always caused psychosis, but previously that only came after prolonged use. Now today's meth can cause users to lose their mind the very first time they ingest it. I look at people and they're not the same people, Lana says. I've seen a girl walking around on the street saying, I don't know where I am at. Another girl, a beautiful girl, thought she could punch a code into her arm like a computer. When asked why so many kids are using meth, even after seeing friends lose their minds on it, she says their parents did it. They don't understand and it's different. There's nothing to do down here, so people experiment with things. Though a private detective, Hall learned that there are two other men in addition to Dees and his friends at the house on Village Creek Drive where someone called 911 from Dees' phone. One of those men has a long criminal record, including charges for manufacturing meth. After getting his information, Hall organized a forced search with volunteers on horseback so they could cover more ground. Again, nothing turned up. Hall keeps up her protest vigil outside the courthouse. She's temporarily moved in with a friend who lives closer to the area so she doesn't have a commute all the way from St. Louis. One day in early May, she got sunburnt and had to take the next couple days off afterward. A local woman she didn't know dropped off a few shade umbrellas. There are a lot of good people in this town, she says. One day, as Hall sat outside the courthouse holding her sign, the friend who took Dees to Fredericktown approached her. He was wearing new clothes and had a haircut, a far cry from the disheveled man who called her on a jailhouse video phone in early days of her son's disappearance. Hall says their conversation was brief. She asked him point blank what happened to her son, and he said that Timmy had run off, adopted a new identity, and started a new life elsewhere. Hall asked why her son would do such a thing. The friend suggested Timmy was depressed. Hall didn't buy any of it. On Mother's Day, Fredericktown had its annual Azalea Festival, a town-wide party that includes a carnival, live music, and parade. Hall says that she marched in the parade with some of her supporters, holding her "Help Bring Me Home" signs. Her place in the parade was right behind the man running to be the city prosecutor. That's how I spent my Mother's Day, Hall said. Last Mother's Day, she went fishing with Michael. Dees had to work that Sunday and couldn't join. He came over to Hall's house the next day and surprised her with flowers.
And in March, he's not dead. Nothing happened to Timmy. That looks like someone trying to cover their tracks.
Right, and it's exactly 1 day from a month of Timmy being missing. Timmy came up missing February 28th, and that check-in is March 27th.
Yeah.
And then they were smart enough to realize they messed up and got back on there and took it off. Because if you go to Timmy's Facebook page now, it's gone. And I showed the highway patrol that.
Yeah. I mean, well, shit. I mean, how many lives have we done on this case just to light enough fire under their ass to put out a half-ass effort to search for Tim? And now I guess we're going to have to do it again to try to get justice for Timmy now that he's been found. But, you know, we don't have answers. We need answers. We need to know what happened to him. And that's why we need to get this second autopsy done, guys. I mean, you know, it's sad. It's sad that family members have to shell out $5,000 out of their fucking pockets so that they can get the right answers that they need. But it's happened, you know, at least 2 times there that I know of. And now we're looking at a third time that it's going to take an independent autopsy to get the proper answers and to try to get some sense of justice for Timmy.
And the thing is, I'm probably going to have to sell my house to do it if I don't get it. I'm going to, because I cannot sleep at night and not know what happened to Timmy. I've been having actually nightmares over the whole thing anymore.
Yeah, but Timmy wouldn't want you to give your house up either.
Well, if it's going to help me sleep and know what happened to him, it'd be worth it.
See, guys, I really don't want Barb to have to give up her house. You know, I'm begging you, even if it's just $5 to $10. If you can help out, do what you can, guys. I mean, this lady's already been through hell. She spent months living in front of a courthouse to try to get them to look for her son. And now she's on the verge of having to sell everything she owns just so she can get an independent autopsy done on her son to try to get him the justice that he deserves.
All I want is just that for them to find out what happened to him. I don't think that's asking for too much.
Hold on a second. My buddy Levi, he's one of my team members. I'm going to drop a link and see if he can come up. But he said something that he may be able to help you out, Barbara. Give me just a minute. I'm going to drop that link for Levi.
All right, thank you.
All right, Levi, if you want to come up, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything you can do to help Barb out, because like I said, we've been to hell and back with each other on this case, and if you can help her out, it's definitely appreciated.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That GoFundMe isn't working. I don't know why it isn't. Let me go to it real quick because it pulled up for me. Hold on. Yeah, it should be working. Let me try it again. But yeah, hopefully Levi's still here and he can come up here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, we definitely don't want you to have to sell your house.
Well, I talked to Holly from the state attorney's office, and I called her again today because I talked to her yesterday to ask her if it would be all right if I said anything to you about what she had told me, and she told me that she is getting the runaround herself.
Yeah, you were telling me how you were talking to the senator and everything, and she can't even get answers. They're giving her the runaround, and you know, that's crazy. And she's the type of person that should be able to make the changes that are needed there. But it's going to take work.
Very, very nice woman. She's been great to me, but she did talk to me yesterday for a while, and she said, I'm going to make some phone calls. I'll call you back. She called me back. She said, Barb, I don't know what to do. I'm getting the runaround too. And then Jeff Johnson got on me when I went to see him and told me that he doesn't want me getting on these live podcasts, making it sound like he's not doing his job. Well, to me, he's not doing his job if he's not finishing it.
Exactly. Exactly. And quite honestly, who cares what they want? You know, no one wants to be called out for not doing their damn job. But unfortunately, that's the breaks, guys. You don't do your job, I'm going to call you out every single time. And it's not just you. You're not my only target. I've done it in Ohio. I've done it plenty of places, and I'm going to continue to do it every time a kid goes missing, a person goes missing, and you don't want to take the time to do your goddamn job.
Well, at this point, I have been told that I should be worried about what happens to me. So if anything happens to me, I just want you guys to know what's going on.
Well, we're definitely worried about you. Hey, Levi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Levi.
Yeah. What idea did you have?
Well, how much more is needed?
Let me take a look real quick.
What's the GoFundMe at? I have some
They're at $15.75 right now.
$15.75, and how much does she need?
She needs $5,000 altogether to do the independent autopsy.
Okay.
Let
me do my magic here, and I'll reach out to some other bigger creators and get them to at least do some stuff on some other social media stuff.
Thank you.
And when does this have to be done by?
Hey, how much time do you have left? You've got less than a week, don't you, Barb?
Wednesday, they said they're releasing Timmy's body. The only way they're going to keep his body is if I pay them $50 a day.
Okay, so we do have some time then, because you have 1,500, right? So we do have some time to be able to get this, but I'll reach out to some people. What town is this in?
This is Fredericktown, Missouri.
What's it close to?
Popper. Well, I don't know, Popper Bluff.
What's like a bigger city? Like how far from Kansas City or St. Louis?
It's 55 minutes from Popper Bluff. It's
I don't know where
2
Popper
hours.
Bluff is.
It's 2 hours, and because I'm going there, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes from St. Louis, from where I live.
All right, south or west?
Oh, south.
South. Okay. Yeah, Levi is the brains behind this operation. He's one of the. I couldn't do what I do without him.
Thank you, Levi.
And he's a valuable member of the team. All of my team members are valuable, and we all bring different assets to the table. I'm the mouth that likes to call everyone out. So.
That's what we love about you, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss here. I don't know much about the case because I know Arctic's been covering it, and I know he's been invested with you because we talk and converse behind the scenes about cases and about what's going on, and to help one another.
Thank you.
I will get caught up here in it, and we'll talk, Arctic, after probably tomorrow, and come up with a plan and figure out how we're going to do this. And we'll dig into our pockets and get some donations going.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to.
Arctic's been with me from day one when I was sitting here, and I made that's why I had a Facebook page. I made it just because I needed to get the word out that Timmy was missing, because I hadn't heard from him in 2 days, and that was not normal. It just wasn't normal. I knew something was wrong. I mean, I physically felt sick. I knew.
Yeah, I mean, she was crying out on Facebook, begging anyone to cover Timmy's story, and no one had touched his story. Even the local press wasn't covering the story. And I did a video on Timmy, and it just took off from there. And now she's part of the family. So even after this is all resolved with Tim and everything, you know, Barbara will always be part of the family, and she knows she's got my number that she can call me at any time. So
yeah. You
Yeah.
just have to be okay a lot.
Oh yeah. I I know I've been doing this with some other missing people's families too. So it's we'll get something figured out here and quickly. I have a couple ideas already in mind, and Arctic probably knows what I'm talking about, but we will do it off of here and see what we can
Well,
for
Timmy's dad told me
creators and
he would
getting
give
some
me.
movement here.
Timmy's dad told me he
So,
would give me till October 1st,
um,
and then yesterday I got a phone call
huh?
saying that from the funeral home.
So
Timmy
Timmy's
and
dad told her that she had till October 1st, and then she gets that call yesterday from the funeral home saying she has till Wednesday unless she pays $50 a day to keep Timmy in storage. And so we've got to get on this ASAP.
There, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna hop down. I'm gonna look at some stuff. Does the link work now for the GoFundMe or no? Not yet.
Yeah, it should be working. There was only one person that said that there was a problem with it, but it should be working. I'll drop it in the chat again. Hold on a second.
Well, it's when you're done, send it, put it in our group chat, and then
I will.
I'll
And then
go and
I'll edit the description of the live and leave it in the description of the live too.
yeah.
thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Yep. I'm gonna get to work on it right now while you guys are still live, and I'm gonna reach out to some other creators that I know that can at least do a live and at least put it up there and get things rolling for you. So.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep. No
Levi.
problem.
Venomous.
Yep.
I hope
Thank you.
you get.
Bye.
Yeah, no problem.
And that is it in the article. There's obviously something fishy going on here. That is why we need to help this mother get a second look at another autopsy report so that we can get this case moved into the right direction and completely figure out what is going on. I want you all to go and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. And if you know any creators that would like to do an interview with Miss Hall, please let me know. Until the next one, if you see something, say something.